The crisis no one votes for. Every 4 years, America argues about everything: taxes, immigration, healthcare, the economy. Politicians promise to fix what is broken, but there is one crisis no candidate ever campaigns on, one wound that has never appeared in a single debate: the psychological collapse of the American people. Not the economy, not the border, not inflation. The crisis happening inside the minds of ordinary Americans. 1 in 5 American adults lives with a mental illness. That is over 50 million people, more than the entire population of California. Suicide is now the second leading cause of death for Americans aged 10 to 34. Deaths of despair from suicide, overdose, alcohol are rising every single year. But America spends millions on defense, but ranks 29th in the world for mental health care access. These numbers exist, they are published, they are real, and every election cycle they are ignored. Political polarization is not just a policy disagreement, it is a daily psychological experience for every American. Research shows that political hatred now activates the same brain regions as physical threat. Your body cannot tell the difference between a line and a tweet. Cortisol, the stress hormone, is chronically elevated in politically engaged Americans. Chronic stress destroys memory. It shrinks the hippocampus. It weakens immunity. It disrupts sleep. It shortens life. America is not just politically divided, it is psychologically exhausted. The average American consumes over 11 hours of media per day, but because fear and outrage are addictive. Every platform is engineered to maximize your emotional reaction. Anger keeps you scrolling, fear keeps you watching, and your mental health is the price they never pay. This is not a conspiracy, it is a business model. This crisis does not hit everyone equally. Rural American is living through something the cities rarely discuss. Opioid addiction gutted entire communities across Ohio, Kentucky, West Virginia. Young men without college degrees are dying at rates not seen since the Great Depression. They call it the deaths of despair. Doctors do, economists do. Politicians call it a talking point and move to the next topic. The people living it call it life because they have no other word. Children absorb the emotional climate of their household when adults are constantly anxious. Children learn anxiety as their default state. When adults model outrage as a form of identity, children inherit it. America's children are growing up in a climate of psychological emergency. Childhood anxiety diagnoses have tripled in the last 15 years, and the system meant to catch them are overwhelmed. This is not someone else's children. Mental health is still spoken about in whispers in America. 40% of Americans who need mental health care never seek it because the stigma is still enormous, because the cost of unaffordable for most working Americans, because the wait lists stretch 6 to 12 months in many states. The system was not built for the scale of what Americans are experiencing. Decades of psychological research has produced clear answer. Community connection is the single strongest predictor of psychological well-being, but American community has been quietly collapsing for 50 years. bowling alone. Robert Putnam's landmark study documented the collapse of civic life. Church attendance down, union membership down, civic clubs gone. The social infrastructure that once held American psychology together has been dismantled, and nothing has been built to replace it. No political party owns this crisis. It lives in red states and blue states equally. It lives in wealthy zip codes and forgotten ones. Suffering does not vote along party lines. What psychology tells us is simple and difficult. Humans need connection, meaning, belonging, safety. We have built the most distracted, most surveilled, most marketed to population in human history, and we have not yet asked what has cost the human mind. That is crisis no one votes for, but everyone is living.